I just say that we are now sitting in a manifestation of my own design? One of the things I tell myself is that it always gets better, and it literally does. This time, 2 weeks ago, what was I saying to you? Let's record another podcast episode together.
Yes.
First one was so sick.
Yeah.
A few technical difficulties.
A few.
Why? Mercury retrograde. It happens.
But now, here we are.
What were you just saying earlier when it came to your outfit, blue earrings, not pushing through? Recap.
I was distracted packing and couldn't put my accessories together because
Real.
I needed my wallet.
Mm.
Getting on a plane is the one time when I really feel like I need my wallet, even though I never have it on me. And in my mind, I thought, this is the one time I won't pack it because I can't find it and I'll get arrested.
Airport trauma manifests in different ways.
It
For me, it's like
does.
diarrhea. And I didn't even realize it was a thing until I said it one too many times to a friend. And they're like, do you have airport anxiety?
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? Me? No, I'm on a plane every week. Like, it's nothing to me.
Frequent flyer.
Meanwhile, I'm running to the bathroom every time. Super spooky. But I asked you, what was the lesson in that?
My lesson was, like, don't look so hard. Because the wallet was right under my side of the bed, and I realized the reason it was there was I booked a flight to come here
Real.
in bed.
And this is another thing, because we're having an interconnected learning moment. Because for me, my lesson is always like, it's going to be way better than you think and way easier than you intend it to be. And when we recorded that first episode, it was like pushing through all these technical difficulties and this and that and can't really hear you, but like, let's just push through. And now we're here. The price has gone up. Thank you, Prime Video. Hold on a second. This is what I'm talking about. I always knew. You see, I have this thing about production. I love it. I don't want to be involved.
Yeah,
So
same.
to show up with my people and exist, to do what we do best.
Everything is taken care of. No sound issues, face to face, no lag, no looking for my headphones and realizing they were also probably lost and I was looking way too hard.
I'm telling you, it's something mystical and magical. Stop trying so hard. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, that doesn't sound like my message, it's not. Because a few of you need to try a little bit more harder, but a little bit more harder, a little bit more hard, a little bit harder.
Harder, but more harder.
But more harder.
Yeah.
English has
like-
never been for me.
No, but sometimes breaking the rules of grammar is essential to getting the message across because more harder hits better than
It's
just
exactly
harder.
what we're trying to say. Try more
Exactly.
harder. For us, resistance is the key that we need to stop trying so hard. But to your point, the earrings would have been amazing. And I do think there's some real magic in vanity. I think that a lot of us have been trained to be like, no, like,
Yeah.
don't think too much about the way that you look. It's not just about the way that we look. It's about the way that we feel, how the space feels. I had to spray some Lilith spray just to get the vibe right, a few deep breaths, and now I'm locked in.
Yes.
You can turn anything into a deep conversation. I do it effortlessly.
you
People talk
do.
about fish and chips. I'm like, but let's think about the way that someone has gone out of their way to learn the skills necessary to catch that fish so I can eat it. Biblical.
Yeah.
So biblical. Back to the point though, I feel like there are about 4 or 5 movies that we've both watched. Maybe I've watched them, maybe you've watched them, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm really not good at knowing what happens outside of my reality. Sorry.
Same. Yeah. It's always the thing where you're like, everyone has seen that. And then you learn that everyone closest to you hasn't seen it, but they've seen something else. And they're like, how come you haven't seen that?
Me and most
You're
things,
living under
actually.
a rock.
If I could list down everything that I've watched, you'd be like, what's the through line here? And I'm not sure I understand. But for now, I'm pretty sure that we can meet in the middle and say that the best movie of the last 5 years was on the count of 3, 2, 1.
Challenges.
Exactly.
You were going to say that?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm so glad.
Exactly. Can I start with what has been one of my most prime manifestations that hasn't come to pass? And I think it's because the people required to make this manifestation real don't exist yet. For me, I've always wanted 2 boyfriends. That's just been my thing.
Yeah.
And you could quiz my friends from high school. We were on the 2 boyfriends game since then.
Yeah.
Okay, don't think too hard about
What
it.
stopped you from having 2 boyfriends?
I don't think that's me. I think the 2 boyfriends also need to sort that out between each other because they can't be strangers. I think they need to have some kind of, I don't want to call it homoerotic. I want it to be like a real passionate relationship between each other that can only exist due to the magnet that is me.
Okay.
But not me as a person, me as an essence.
You as an enigma.
Yes. something so powerful that draws these two powerful entities together. And don't they say a triangle is the strongest shape?
Yeah, it's
Don't
actually...
want to put up gang symbols, but...
No, but coming back to my biblical upbringing, it's always three. You, the other person, and God. It's like a braid with three strands.
Exactly.
You and your two boyfriends.
Exactly. And I just feel like for once I've always understood the conversation about representation from like a real level, obviously, but I think that the conversation the media's been having is very one-dimensional. Like, we just need to see more diverse faces. I'm like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Okay, what about more diverse stories? Can we get some theatre? And what I want to see is a movie marketed as a tennis movie and be like remotely about tennis.
The tennis was just a nice bonus. Also because watching it at the start of the year for me, it's when I watched it ahead of the Australian Open. I was just getting ready to, remember the drama of it all. And I really loved that the relationship was at the forefront and not the tennis.
Which doesn't feel like a thing I'm usually into, because I don't really like when romance is situationally included into the storyline without real meaning. But this is the point.
That is the
point. They all just needed to love each other outside of the tool that was the game.
The game was the tool. It absolutely was. Also the parallels between the, what do they say? Love in tennis is always like one love. Real. Okay.
So wait. Slow down.
Love.
It was right there the whole time. You just weren't listening. You weren't paying attention. Tennis has always been about romance.
Yeah.
Might I remind you, well, you didn't experience this with me, but a couple of days ago, I was walking to the beach in Hobart. And when I was going to the beach, I was going to get a toastie. The cafe was closed. And then I realized there was a protest there, protesting fish farms. I said, let me pull up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I get to the beach. The protest is a 2.5K walk that way. I said, well, I'm here. As I'm walking, I run into my neighbor, Ken. We start talking about tennis. I didn't even know how we get there. But he's really into it. And I was like, what's the one thing that really surprises you, or one thing that you wish you could articulate about what you love about tennis that people don't understand? And he's like, it's so much more dynamic than you could ever imagine. Like, on the screen, it feels so two-dimensional and like, back and forth and binary. But he's like, there's so much depth and theatre and drama. And the people who really respect the game allow you to go on that journey. It's not just people hitting balls. It's like a story of triumph. I said, Ken, you're so right. Because the one time I decided that I should play tennis, I was so blown away by how much moving there was.
Yes. It
back
doesn't
and
look
forth
like
and back
it.
and forth, and you're running here, running there, and trying to get your whole body to work in sync. I couldn't get it. Mind you, though, what I really want to talk about is Tashi Duncan.
Tashi, our icon.
Anybody on the internet who said that she was selfish, manipulative, misguided is, number one, a hater, but number two, has never truly understood what it's like to be so close to the thing that you know you should have and see all the ways you're not going to get it.
And also, like, it explains that it takes more than just being a great player, because arguably the guy she ends up marrying and that she propels to be the number one through her coaching, grit, determination, isn't the best player. He's not. He's got the best coach, but he's not the best player, which is why it's such a like interesting game. Because, I've never played tennis. I've watched it several times, but whenever I'm watching it on the screen, I'm like, oh, how hard can it be? It's a ball, it's a net, there's another person. But then when you're actually watching it in person, or you're watching, challenges, and you're realizing the like pre-game rituals, the mental game of it all, I feel like that actually took me to a new appreciation of the game, because it's not just hitting a ball over a net. It's
not, but it's also like playing or being excellent. Just excellence as a standard, excellence as a state of being. It's so unrelatable because most people wouldn't work that hard for anything. And then you have this person who's like, I could have had it.
Some people need to try more harder.
Literally, try more harder. But I want to go on record and say that there is no way that Tashi Duncan isn't a Scorpio. And you might say that's offensive. I mean it in the most affirming way ever.
Yeah.
she was so hyper aware of maintaining her sense of power and control and sovereignty, even though she knew that she was tapped out of the game from her own perspective.
Yes.
And that kind of dedication to be like, I can't play, but I'm still going to get that win.
Yeah.
I'm still going to get that win.
Like the winning through the other person.
Exactly. But also it wasn't even that. It was all about her. Even when Art so desperately wanted it to be about him. It's like, it was never going to be you, King.
No,
You thought this was about you? I'm sorry. And I know we started with 2 boyfriends. That was just to lure you in. This is a serious conversation about how, you know, you want to feel like women can have it all, but then you have Tashi Duncan. She's like talented, an enigma, hot, sexy, interesting, and she can't have it all because the one person that she's channeling all her energy into is essentially a loser.
He is. And I feel like that was also hard for her to realize, having chosen the wrong one or something. Like, I feel like that was from the start, all I wanted to know was who was she going to pick? Because it was clear that whoever she'd pick would be the next star.
But not even that. It's like, who is she going to pick? Because whoever she picks is a representation of her own self-esteem.
Yeah.
Sister, lock in. And we can say that because we've been there.
Yes.
But also you're like, wow, even the best of the best will still struggle with this.
They're all struggling with this. Everyone has the same problems deep down. It just seems better.
Not even deep down, actually. Quite
on the surface. On the surface, we all have the same problems.
Superficially, we're all going through it.
But yeah, she just has like, you know, the nicer hotel room, I guess.
Can I read you out this review that really hurt my feelings? Because a lot of people make me feel, and maybe this is like an insecurity, but people make me feel like I have bad taste because why am I always having the best experience watching stuff like full body tingles?
You know what? Maybe I have bad taste. I accept it.
But see, I've said that before. I tried a fake humble and I'm like, I don't have bad taste. So I have really great taste. I'm looking up challenges to be like, okay, what's the energy in the room?
Do you look up reviews before you watch something or no? Yeah.
Way after.
And do you ever look up like the plot before?
Not anymore.
No. Okay, yeah.
I've been led astray too many times. I just trust the energy.
Yeah, fair.
And it works. Listen to this review. Number 1, 2.4 star review when you Google this. I won't say where it's coming from. I don't want any problems.
That's too low.
But
sorry.
This person says, and I would name them, but again, I don't want any beef. I'm in a love and light era. I'm saving my demons for myself. Challenges is by far one of the most overrated movies in the 21st century. This is a liar speaking.
Wow.
A woman, in brackets, Tashi Duncan, feeling empowered by manipulating and coaching a man. Because when you put it like that, yeah. So she should feel empowered. Like,
absolutely, men do it all the time. It's only a problem when a woman does it. Like, nobody said this about King Richard.
Like, because King Richard's just a coach. When a woman coaches, it's manipulating. I'm not even going to finish that review. Let's move on. If you want to find it, you can, just with those first words alone. Okay, next. I feel like blink twice. Because I don't intend to watch a thriller and see myself depicted on screen like that. And again, when we're talking about representation, I feel like it's very telling when you see how easy it is to get manipulated by watching it on screen and being like, that's how easy it is?
Yes.
I used to think manipulation was so fine-tuned, so like tasteful, artistic, intelligent, academic,
and then
months of planning.
You find out it's super simple.
It's almost cut and paste.
It is. That's why so many
Plagiarism.
people end up in cults. Right? Like if it was actually hard to be a cult leader, there would be fewer cults.
I feel like there aren't as many cults as that quote makes it seem, or are there heaps more?
There are heaps more because, okay, so just a multi-level marketing, right? Okay, sorry. I'll just go back 10 years. I feel like 10 years ago, everyone was like, oh, multi-level marketing, that's silly. Like, I would never fall for that. Especially in our generation, we're like, oh, we're above that. Like, that was our mum's thing. Yeah. And now I'm online and people are back in MLMs and they're younger than me. And I'm like, oh, actually, we didn't really learn from this. And it's just, there's always going to be somebody who can be manipulated into, you know, and seduced into, you know, oh, you're going to get all of this. Let me see what I can offer you. Come to my beautiful retreat with me. And next thing you know.
Let me know if you would fall for this or not. You are obsessed with someone, and this might rule out most people, but just like, let's do a little imagination exercise. You're obsessed with someone who's got status and power and they're really attractive, and you just so happen to end up working at one of their events, and then they see you like you've seen them. And even though you are a lowly person, they've clocked you like you clock them, and they've invited you to their private island that they're going to with their friend and therapist. So obviously a very well-adjusted, sane, trustworthy person. And then you get there and realize you're not exactly having a great time because you keep blacking out every night. You wake up with bruises. What is happening to you? Frida, in my opinion, is such an incredible protagonist because, first of all, I want to see about 150% more Black people on screen at all times. That would really like take everything up to here for me. But only because I feel like the way that she portrayed like standum to me is so subtle, because like when you're really obsessed with the archetype or like the persona of someone, you know it's nonsensical, but the synapses have already fired and the chemistry is already moving.
There's nothing you can do.
You just have to follow along with it. And I like that she took it to the level it needed to go to. Imagine seeing someone 2D on your phone and now you're on their private island.
Dream, to be honest.
You know,
at the first glance, you're like, wow, I took manifestation.
Works.
Yeah, it works. It
works. And then Slater King is using all the phrases, talking about this is an energetic alignment. Exactly. Like this is called, I'm living in a manifestation right now. You wouldn't fall for that?
As if, because especially if you're already attuned to that lingo, you're just gonna think you met, your soulmate.
But without giving too much away, obviously we know that if a billionaire does invite you to their private island, it's not going to be safe for you in any sense of the word. So
bring a friend.
Start the Krav Maga sooner than later. Yeah. Bring a friend. Bring 2 friends in case the first one dies. It's happened before. But I think the beautiful thing about Frida is that the same thing that got her in this position, her naivety, her optimism, is the same thing that got her out of the situation, but she flipped it. The only way Frida was allowed to leave there, a liberated woman, was because she was underestimated the whole time.
Yes.
From the beginning, where he thought that he had clocked her out of obscurity, you thought you clocked the waitress at the party.
Babe, she knew.
She doesn't even work here. She doesn't even work here. She's lying. She's a liar. She does role play. This is manipulation.
Yeah.
This is a mastermind. She got in the room, not even as what people would perceived to be equal stature, and ensnared him.
Yeah, and that's the thing about manipulation, right? It goes both ways, because the more you've been manipulated in the past, the better you become at manipulating other people, because you know what to do.
Clock it.
Whenever I watch something, I'm like, what's the lesson for me and how can I apply it in my life?
So what is the lesson here?
I mean, I guess like, don't mess with billionaires, to be honest.
Okay, see, I got a different message.
I'm just like gonna remove myself completely, because I'm not like about to get into all this drama.
No, I definitely think there's an art of playing the game, and I don't mean whatever book that was written by that guy.
The game, no, not that one.
But it's close enough. I think that a lot of like women in particular discount themselves by having to be perceived as non-threatening to be allowed in too many spaces.
Yeah,
because I think that Frida crafted this character to suit who she thought Slater King would perceive to be easily manipulated by. Like there was like a 2 to tango thing here.
Absolutely.
She didn't know how it was going to escalate, but it was like, you don't have to show up as a shell of yourself to get what you need. You really don't. So that's a good lesson there. And then also naivety. It is a liability, but it's also a weapon. Naivety, blind optimism, hoping for the best, dreaming big. They all got her to the top of his empire.
That's true. Especially dreaming big. I think actually maybe I'll take that away rather than don't mess with billionaires.
Okay.
Dream big and take them.
I really think there's magic in cliches.
Yeah, I'm trying to
We've
embrace
heard this
them
one
more.
before, but I don't think people were really paying attention.
Yeah, it's like a Cinderella story.
Fully. There's something about ensuring that if you're able to set the bar higher, then if you don't reach that, you're going further than you intended to.
Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Is that
something?
The one?
Also, I don't know how to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound really obvious, but you need to be able to walk into a room and not see the other women in the room as your enemy. dead that,
Yeah.
please. Because
Oh,
the way that
100%.
misogyny is mutating these days, it's getting very,
Yes.
very scary. I need you to stop doing alliances
Yeah.
with the wrong people. You've seen all the reality TV shows. You've seen all the books. You've watched all the movies. It's playing out in real time. You're
Yeah.
acting like you're new here. We've had the benefit of being, I'd say, programmed with so much amazing media and then some in our time, that if you don't understand the tropes when they're happening, you're not paying attention. The fact that in Blink Twice, Frida was like, oh, the hot girl is also going to be on my team? Yes, sister.
Yes.
She's suffering here with you.
She's not the enemy.
You know when you forgot your best friend for so long that she died? Don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard because, some people watch this stuff or, learn these lessons and they go away with the right message, but there's no way of ensuring it. So whenever I see something, I'm like, this is what I took away, but what is everyone else thinking? Because, they might be learning from the guy in all of this.
Yes. Yes. Hold on. So if I'm going to say it plainly, there are layers to who you should be in an alliance with.
Yeah.
But if you are a woman, pick the woman.
Picked a woman.
And you can work
That's
from there.
the rule.
Please.
100%.
Because the storyline is getting really complicated when you don't do the thing you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Why
There's rules to this.
There are rules. And also I really feel like you have to understand social mobility in dangerous spaces. And not every space that is dangerous is going to look that way. Pattern up. Wake up.
And sometimes the most dangerous spaces are the ones you don't suspect. Like
which one?
The beautiful island, the beautiful gift bag. Learning that nothing is free. Like my mom, you would always say to me, nothing is free. If it's too good to be true, it's too good. And I was like, Mom,
people are just nice.
Let it be good. Let it be true.
Let it be easy. Let it be light. She's like, you're going to get manipulated. But like, I get it. It was a good learning experience. Okay, can I tell you about this movie I just watched? This is hot off the press. And if you know anything about me, I'm rarely hot on it. I have this, I don't know what we want to call it. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I think I have that same thing where you can't consume it straight away. Is that it? Yeah.
I need to be first on the hype train or the last person.
Absolutely. If I'm first, I'm so happy. If I'm last, I'm like, sorry, I was wrong about that. I like it now too.
There's something so smug about somebody mentioning a classic and be like, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And obviously it pains me because I love being in the know, but also realistically, it's like, I haven't seen a lot of things that I should have seen, but you are cordially invited. You are. I do this thing where I separate out words like I'm a philosophy professor. I keep saying cannot. Did not.
I like that. Sometimes it's more clear because sometimes somebody might say didn't and I hear did because that's what I want to believe. I fill in the words. I hear what I want to hear. Didn't. Or okay. I don't know.
Can I read you what I wrote here?
Please tell me.
The future of women in film. Delightfully off-putting, charismatic, and so smart.
Yes.
Does that not sound like a future you want to exist in?
That's the type of films I want the daughters I'll never have to watch.
This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. The daughter I'm not having, and if she ends up existing, this is no shade to you. You weren't even real at this point. Delightfully off-putting.
Oh, yes.
Oh!
Yeah.
Genius.
Absolutely.
So tapped in.
And I actually think that's the one thing you're not supposed to be is off-putting as a woman or,
Yes.
But then when you are.
I honestly think it's the sweet spot. Do you want to elaborate what you are saying when you say off-putting?
Off-putting, I feel like inequality would mean, says what she wants, does what she needs to, gets it done, doesn't apologize, doesn't say sorry too many times. Maybe doesn't even say sorry at all when it's not her fault, because that's something I do. I'll just be like, sorry. Yeah. Delightfully off-putting, doesn't say sorry. Just goes ahead, does the thing, and, is proud of it.
Any delightfully off-putting woman is living in first person in the sense where she's responding to stimuli as it's happening. She's not anticipating doing something wrong to then come and say sorry later. She's not anticipating that anything is ever going poorly. She's like, I'm just here vibing, experiencing. I'll do what I want as it comes up. And so I tried to explain it to you earlier and I said, let me just save this for my recording. this might be because I haven't watched a lot of things in my lifetime. And when
Yeah.
I say I'm into pop culture, I'm soon understanding that I'm into internet culture, and that's
They're two different things.
Even further than that, social media culture,
Yeah, I agree.
which is more of my thing. And now I understand that. So if I've confused people up until this point, and this is why when you ask me things about Australian media, I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean?
which website did you see that on?
I'm like, I'm not on traditional TV. I'm streaming, babe.
You know? But, okay, you're cordially invited. These archetypes I've never seen before. So you have Reese Witherspoon's character.
Girl boss era. So over.
Who's created a whole persona of being nothing like her family, which is like Southern, respectability, politics, culture, judging everyone, but doing it with a smile.
Yes.
And so she has to go back home and essentially event plan the wedding for her sister. Her sister, who's obviously a Libra, and no shade, but, understands the way that her family can come across, being a bit off-putting, but still loves them because they're her family, but really wants her sister with money and good taste to plan this wedding, as you would.
Yes, of course.
The sister's marrying a stripper. Family is not into it. Exotic dancer, they call him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shame in either word. They're both good words. So watching this character, watching Reese on screen, I'm like, okay. The call is coming from inside the house, not because I can relate, but because I can see this reflected in and around me so much, where people are creating personas by being not like that.
Yes, it's not focusing on what you want, but on what you not want, which is so counterintuitive. And actually, I'll say Reese Witherspoon is so good at playing those roles. Every time I see Reese Witherspoon play a, what did you call it? Delightfully off-putting woman, I'm like, Reese.
And she's going to love us saying that about her too. She'll get it.
She'd be like, yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
And I love how picky she is with the project that she does. She'll always choose something that's a little bit different. And I haven't watched it yet because it's too fresh, hot, off
Some
the
of
press.
us are quicker than others, and it's okay.
Yeah, but I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, Reese, I see you. I see you.
And it's really interesting because when I was watching it, I was like, I know what this looks like to need someone around you as proof of who you think you are.
Yeah.
So it's like she's holding her sister. When I say her sister's a Libra, I mean that she's like so people-minded. She doesn't want to put anyone in a bad spot, so she often doesn't advocate for what she needs.
Yeah.
And this is her wedding, her big moment, and she's like, but what about this, and what about that, and what about this? And so watching the way that Reese Witherspoon's character is holding her sister hostage to make her sense of self feel real. Like, no, my sister is proof that I'm a good person, and she's proof that I care about people, and she's proof that I'm willing to put aside my needs for other people while trying to create this carbon copy,
yeah. And it's her
wedding.
little sister as well, right? So there's the whole dynamic of older, younger, like, I know how it's done. Let me take care of this. You're too easygoing. Why are you not as mad about this as I am? And I get that actually in any relationship, to be honest. I'll get way more mad than the other person at whatever injustice is done to them. And I love it as a trope.
This is what I'm saying. Because my whole thing is, and I'm going to bring astrology into this because it matters, but I've talked to you about my Libra 8th house before, the 8th house being the alchemy that you share when you get into spaces with other people, and you catch me on the wrong day in the wrong relationship, I'm deferring.
Yeah.
What would make you happy? What would make you easier? Because I can't be too selfish. Whose life is it?
No, and also like sometimes the selfish thing is actually the kindest thing to the other person, because then you're not putting them out by like just making the decision.
It's a lot, but it was really fascinating watching like respectability politics play out in a culture that I'm not a part of. Like this is like white American Southern culture. The nuances are layered. Like I'm like, they all seem pretty like regular to me.
Yeah.
No. Apparently this family is evil. I said, couldn't tell. But what I saw for the first time that I didn't see earlier with like the analysis of it all is just like the illusion of control that respectability gives people, that if I can say all the right things and wear the right outfit and shop in the right way and refer to the right thing in the right way, then everybody will like me. And it's like,
and
that's
everything is going to go
works.
smoothly, and it just doesn't. But that's where the fun is, like within seeing, things like that. Like I love watching situations and people who are not like me sometimes, just so I can, when I meet them, know what to expect.
So you can profile them.
yeah. So I can
Stereotypes matter because when I meet these people in real life, then I'll know exactly how to reference them.
Exactly. So I can be like, oh, okay, so you pretend to hate your family or they pretend to hate you, and it's all a big game because it helps you feel safe.
Which is like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so much deeper. Let's hold some empathy.
Yes.
Or something.
Or something.
I don't know.
Just
There's more
holding
to
space.
it. Just when you end up watching the movie, there's also this new archetype of like brown cardigan, misogynist, like loves his daughter, loves his mum, hates women. And I thought, now this is a story I need to get into. This is like an anthropological assessment.
Yeah, see.
I'm like, wait.
That's what I haven't, because I haven't seen this. I'm like, okay, I need more stereotypes and more profiling.
Exactly.
for my own, purposes.
You can stream it on Prime Video.
Sounds good.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Isn't it nice?
It's beautiful.
This is the full flex experience.
It really is. Like down to the curve of the sofa. It just hugs you sitting here.
Thank you.
Like
Someone did the right profiling. Profiling? Well, it's done. Okay, miss you. Bye.
Bye.
My